Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Harrington. Tonight on the Now Bakersfield, a storm that rolled across the county has brought snow to the slopes of a local ski resort. See what you can expect this year. And there's one gift you could probably skip buying this year because it's the most often returned item. We'll tell you what it is coming up next. Plus, if you have an older car that may not pass a smog check, we have the details on the event happening where you could get a voucher for the repairs. That's all ahead on the Now Bakersfield. Chris?
In tonight's lineup on the Now, an alarming new report just released. You might be waiting longer for an ambulance if you're poor. We're going to get into the reasons behind that. We're also talking about the new way to determine just how much your house is worth. And you know that we love saving you money, so we're revealing the tricks that some stores are using to get you to spend more. Really good information as we head into the weekend.
Well, the snow has arrived in Kern County and a local resort is off to a strong start. Prep's already underway tonight. The Now's Tori Cooper spent the afternoon at Alta Sierra and has more on what families can expect this year.
Jessica, Alta Sierra is home to many families during the winter months, and just last night they received 10 inches of snowfall, and mountain owners say that they expect to be able to open up the slope pretty soon as long as this snow sticks around, and there may be a deal or two for you and your family. For many Kern County locals, it's their backyard ski resort.
We're optimistic. Like I said, we're expecting more snow, and it's early, and we want to catch the holiday season, the Christmas time, and get everybody from Kern County. There's a lot of pent-up demand right now.
The resort offers 2 ski lifts, snowboarding, and tubing. After only opening up for 2 days last year, in light of the California drought, Alta Sierra co-owner Kero says this year's opening dates for families will also depend on the snowfall. But so far, Ellis says they're off to a good start.
Well, opening just depends on snow. You know, we've got 10 inches still snowing, hoping to get, if we get 2 feet or a little bit more than that, because then when we compact it, we have to groom it. So it does compact down. But that mountain's pretty clear, so we can usually open with about 2.5 feet of snow.
Ellis says deals will be available this year for some visitors.
Seniors and military and students with IDs, they get a discount. Just go on the website and find out what that discount is. Usually it's around 10%, 20%.
Ellis says ticket prices also vary each year.
When we have a price increase, which it's been that we haven't really increased it in a while, but the other resorts are all raising their prices. And, with, again, supply and demand, we think we're pretty inexpensive compared to the rest of the mountains. And, you get a lot of ski time in because our lines aren't as large as the other resorts either. So you get a lot of time on that mountain.
For a full day of skiing and snowboarding, adult lift tickets are $50. Kids under 12 get in for $40. Tubers can also enjoy the mountain for 2 hours for $30.
That's one of the most popular things. You can tube down, and you don't even have to hike back up. It takes you back to the top on your tubes.
And if you want to, you can even make a snow angel. Visitors can also expect to see some upgrades on the facility.
We've refurbished our warming hut, put a nice little restaurant bar area in with a nice wood top, and moved the furnace or the fireplace. It's a really comfortable setting in the warming hut right now, yeah.
But Ellis says you need to be prepared for the commute to Alta Sierra.
Yeah, I always recommend change, especially after it snows. They usually tell you on the internet, but I would always carry change with you. Takes about hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, depends on how fast you drive. But if the canyon's closed, the 178's closed, you can always go through Glenville, and a lot of people like that Glenville route anyway.
And the Alta Sierra team is staying optimistic.
It's so awesome. We've all been keeping our fingers crossed, just hoping for the best and waiting for this, and hopefully we just get feet more so we can be snowboarding all the time.
For more information on some of the ticket deals here at Alta Sierra, head to our website, turnto23.com. For the Now Bakersfield, I'm Tori Cooper for 23 ABC News.
Looks like an absolute winter wonderland there. Well, have plans to knock out your holiday shopping list this weekend? A certain gift, though, makes up for 62% of all returns, so you're going to need to be sure of this. Call it the gift that doesn't keep giving, because here comes the spoiler. It's clothing. There's just so much that can go wrong. Size, color, style. In fact, over half of all holiday gifts were exchanged or altered in 2016. And that number seems to be snowballing too. $70 billion in gifts were returned in 2016. In 2017, that number jumped to $90 billion. To make matters worse, a lot of returns will end up in a landfill because stores label them as unsellable. The streets of downtown Bakersfield will be filled with the sounds of Christmas next week during the 36th annual Christmas parade. We want to talk about the route right now. It's going to start at 22nd and L Streets, and something to keep in mind, BPD will be shutting down roads at 4:30 in the afternoon on the day of the parade. The parade is scheduled to end at 8 p.m. and the roadways are scheduled to be back open by 9. There will be free public parking available at the garage at 19th and I Street. At the parade, marching bands, floats, live performances will be rolling through downtown. It's happening this Thursday and will be featured right here on 23 ABC starting at 6 p.m. If you'd like to attend, it's free. You should just get out there early to find the best seat to wait for Santa Claus. We, of course, are also going to be streaming the parade on all of our social media platforms and our website, turnto23.com. Chris?
During an emergency, time can be the difference between life and death. But today we're finding out that people in low-income zip codes, they have to wait longer than others. We are talking 43 minutes on average from the time they call 911 to the time they get to the hospital. The Now's Corey Rangel breaking down what this could mean for you.
In an emergency, seconds count. But people living in poor neighborhoods are waiting longer to get help. A nationwide study released today looked at more than 63,000 cardiac arrest cases and found on average it took ambulances nearly 4 minutes longer to get to patients in low-income neighborhoods compared to rich ones.
Ambulance response time is really, really important for health outcomes with regards to heart attacks.
In fact, each minute delayed increases the odds that a patient will not survive.
If you live in a wealthier area, your life expectancy is much longer than someone who lives in a more poor area. And this paper is starting to get into the mechanisms as to one of the reasons why this may be the case is that ambulances tend to be a lot faster in areas that are richer as opposed to areas that are poor.
Andrew Friedson studies economic disparities in healthcare. One of the biggest reasons behind the difference in ambulance response times has to do with money.
You have a lot more specialty centers that are opening up in wealthier areas, and you have hospitals that are closing in poorer areas. So it's not a question of the ambulances are going slower, but it's that the ambulances have further to travel.
With those hospital closures and the rising cost of healthcare, the authors of the study hope the report will start a conversation about what can be done to help vulnerable patients. For the Now, I'm Corey Rangel.
Corey, thank you. We do have a lot more to talk about in our lineup, including the new way that could determine just how much your house is worth. You're watching The Now.
Sandra's words, now some of the only things her mom Bernice has left.
I don't have her flesh. I don't have her smiling at me all the time. I don't have what I want and want my baby.
And Sandra's words giving her strength as she prepares for a funeral.
Mom, we gonna get through this. We gonna get through this.
Is that what she's telling you now? You're gonna get through this?
Yup, and I keep denying it.
Unsure how she'll get through the pain, but hopeful that Sandra's words might prevent another family from going through the same.
I don't think nobody should die. Not by the hands of somebody else for no apparent reason. She didn't do nothing. The stuff that she wrote, people should listen to it, heed to it, follow it. Because it's only right that kids should live.
Reporting for The Now in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I'm Chris Welch.
Well, we want to shift gears here. It's that time of year again. Registration and smog checks. If your car's in need of some repairs before you can re-register with the DMV, there's a place you can do so for free. The Tune In, Tune Up event is happening at the Kern County Fairgrounds this Saturday, aka tomorrow. The event helps car owners take action to improve our air quality by taking care of expensive smog repairs. Anyone who fails the smog test will receive a $500 voucher to get repairs at a local shop. In addition to the testing, there will be music, food, and vendor booths. The event kicks off Saturday at 8 a.m. A little suggestion, though, get there nice and early. Get your spot in line because once the vouchers are gone, they are gone. All right, taking a live look outside right now. We're talking about more rain on the way. I'm so excited, Allison. It's like winter is finally here.
I know, finally. That means Christmas is coming up in just a few days. Going to be very exciting. Speaking of Christmas, snow up in Alta Sierra. We had a reporter and a photographer up there, so they sent over this picture. They received 10 inches overnight and a little bit more in this afternoon. So very exciting. Today, temperatures, though, were much cooler than what we were expecting the rest of the week. 59 degrees was our high today. Normal for this time of year is 60 degrees. So storm that we've been tracking has pushed east, still seeing a few scattered showers as well as some snow up in the higher elevations here in the valley. We could be seeing some scattered showers in the Tehachapi Mountains, but we are tracking strong winds at this hour nearing 30-mile-per-hour gusts in our desert cities. That is going to be continuing overnight, and we can see that even into our weekend as well. The strongest winds will be through the passes, so just make sure that you are being safe on the roads, especially if we do see some rain. So air quality is going to be back to the moderate range tomorrow with an AQI of 66, but there are no restrictions, but burning is discouraged. So we are tracking a system that is going to be bringing rain here to the valley starting on Saturday afternoon, and then we are going to be seeing those cloudy skies continuing into the early morning hours on Sunday. That rain could be turning to snow, especially down in Fraser Park. We are going to be seeing a light dusting. But as for temperatures, well, dropping down to 54 degrees as a high on Sunday, jumping right back up to the 60s by Tuesday, and we are tracking another system making its way into the county Wednesday and Thursday, just in time for the Bakersfield Christmas parade. So we are crossing our fingers that we will be staying dry in the evening. The Now Bakersfield will be right back.
home appraisals could soon be faster and cheaper. This comes with a catch. Computers would be doing more of those appraisals instead of people. See, right now, if the home is worth $250,000 or less, an actual person with a tape measure doesn't need to come out and appraise it. The government now proposing raising that to homes valued at $400,000 or less. So why would we want this? Well, it could speed up the home sales by weeks and reduce the cost of buyers, which does sound great, but the agencies behind the proposal say this would only apply to loans not backed by the government, so not FHA loans, VA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, which they say are behind the majority of the loans for homes valued at $400,000 or less. But regulators say we are still talking 214,000 additional home sales last year that could have been made without an in-person appraisal. Now, critics are worried that this computer appraisal process is pretty much unregulated. The Trade Organization for Appraisers is warning that loosening the rules could take us back to the situation that led to the financial crisis. Well, the latest climate report from the federal government says natural disasters are only going to continue getting worse. Well, we wanted to know, how are they affecting us and where in the country they're going to hit harder? Investigator Jace Larson with more on these disasters and who they may be threatening next.
Disasters. This year in the United States, there have been 11, each of them costing more than $1 billion.
All of a sudden, there was water rushing in.
The Montoyas survived Houston's Hurricane Harvey, and nearly a year and a half later, they're just living out of one bedroom of their house because they can't afford the repairs.
It became really overwhelming. So I sat and I prayed.
The Montoyas could be any of us because the locations and the path of natural disasters are changing, whether it's floods, freezing, or flames.
We're starting to see fires where we haven't seen fires before.
Forests are drying out, says this climate expert, because global temps have warmed 1.8 degrees. Fires that we used to see primarily in the west are starting farther east.
So the Gatlinburg fires in Tennessee, which killed several people.
14, in fact, and burned 2,400 buildings. Professor Jennifer Balch is worried about the future.
We've also seen fires in the tundra ecosystem in the Arctic, which we haven't seen fires in the tundra ecosystem, say, in 10,000 years.
She predicts next year 100 plus major wildfires as forests in the east burn, along with those in the west.
We're seeing signals not only in wildfires, but also in other types of natural hazards like tropical storms.
Buckle up. In the south and east, she says, that same ingredient is about to make things a whole lot worse. Heat.
And we're essentially pumping more atmospheric water into the atmosphere. And that water becomes available for storms.
In the mid-Atlantic, summer-like weather is lasting on average each year a day longer. In the Northeast, it's 2 days longer. Heat waves are going to be more common, scientists say. But just like in the South, warmer air also means moisture for storms in the winter. Think lots of snow. With even more disasters comes more need, and after a while, those big fundraisers that we see lose steam.
Community solidarity that follows disaster is oftentimes very short-lived because the pain and the suffering and the long-term recovery process starts to set in for families and for communities.
Fortunately, the Montoyas recently received manpower help from Pastor Joel Osteen's megachurch. They just got a new roof, and their hope now is their kids' lives can get back to normal and that all of them can spend Christmas in all the rooms of their house.
Just to be with my family and Christmas, on the couch. Actually, drink hot cocoa and just being with them.
With these new weather realities, the Montoya family is just another reminder that this could be any one of us. I'm Jace Larson, The Now.
All right, Jace, thank you. And next to our lineup, you know that we love to save you money here on The Now, so we have the tricks that some stores are using to try and get you to spend more. That's next.
23 ABC and I are releasing a cookbook, Recipes to the Rescue, just in time for the holiday season. There is a recipe for everyone in this cookbook, from local favorites like Derek and David Carr, Congressman Kevin McCarthy, and all the anchors at 23 ABC. They are sharing their favorite recipes. You can find a link to pre-order the cookbook on our website, turnto23.com, and we'd love for you to attend our cookbook launch party on December 10th at the Mission. Again, you can find all that information on turnto23.com.
What a Scrooge. Cameras catching a person taking a Christmas decoration off a woman's yard in Iowa. You can see the woman get out of the minivan, run into the yard, tug at the snowman, and just run away with it. Hopefully they get cold for their Christmas, frankly, when you see that type of attitude. Well, this is the time of year that can be really stressful on our wallets because we spend nearly $900 on gifts during the holiday season. That's according to a Gallup poll. And guess what? You may be overspending without even knowing it. But now it's Annie Taylor with 5 things you can do to pay better attention.
The holidays, the smell, the music, it just fills up all your senses. But it also triggers the way you shop, and guess what? Stores know it, they tapped into it, and that's how you end up spending more during the holiday season. And those catchy holiday jingles will have you lingering longer in the store, ultimately keeping you around to find more items that you didn't actually need. Oh, and those bright and colorful signs, they'll get you too. The color red creates a sense of urgency. Yellow will grab your attention, green relaxes you, and orange is said to encourage decisions. And we've all been to the grocery store where they hand out samples. It's the best, right? But that right there is another tactic. You tried the sample and now you're left hungry, so you end up buying more food. When's the last time you walked into the mall and didn't smell Cinnabons? According to Psychology Today, the smell of cinnamon has been shown to make things more attractive and subconsciously makes you want to buy. Do you ever feel cramped in a store? You run into a table filled with clothes every turn you make. Well, these speed bumps are not accidental. Stores throw off the flow of the room so you can't just get in and out. And they really get you when they have 2 floors. Now that you know the tricks of the holiday hypnosis, you can now go into the mall a little bit smarter and shop with your money on your mind. For the now, I'm Annie Taylor.
All right, Annie, thank you. And working at McDonald's, it's been a rite of passage for a lot of teenagers trying to get their first job. But now fast food restaurants are turning to a new generation, seniors. Why senior citizens are replacing teens as fast food workers. That story Monday here on The Now.
And coming up tonight on 23 ABC News at 11, it's back. One of the most popular Christmas traditions for local families, holiday lights at Calm. We get an inside look at the famous attraction during its opening night, which was held tonight. We have that story and much more coming up tonight on 23 ABC News at 11. But we are talking about these cooler temperatures, especially tonight.
Especially tonight, right now, around those low 50s and then down to 49 degrees by the time the holiday light show ends at 9 p.m. So cool this evening, breezy, especially in the mountains, tracking some rain chances starting tomorrow afternoon and then down to 54 degrees as a high on Sunday.
Bundle up. Have a great weekend. That's going to do it for us on The Now. We'll see you back here tonight at 11.